Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the NBA slate for Thursday. We have two games today. Have the Bucks trying to avoid a 3-0 deficit against the Nets in the first game, while we have the Clippers trying to even up the series against the Jazz after they lost by a few points, with Morris missing that buzzer beater, getting blocked by Gobert. Let's get into this one. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Looking at the point guard plays, can't really go wrong with any of these top guys. I think Mitchell is probably my favorite at $8,900. Irving also looks great. He's $800 more expensive than Mitchell. Only played 34 minutes because they won by 39. Didn't have to play much in the fourth quarter. Irving is gonna have to take a lot more shots, a lot more usage without James Harden, and we've seen that the first two games where he shot the ball pretty effectively, and he's gonna get you a lot more assist opportunities and get you a few more rebounds. Mitchell is tough to fade if there is no Conley, just because he's gonna shoot so many times, and he's been a lot better shooter recently. In the series against the Grizzlies, he was a bit cold to start, but last few games he's been really hot. 16 of 30, and he shot 15 threes. So very nice percentage for him. Shot 40% from three, put up 45 real life points. And Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they didn't have anything to slow him down, unless they start double teaming him like they did to Luka Doncic in like the later games of that series. Mitchell's gonna be able to just do whatever he wants offensively. Then you have Drew Holiday at 76. I probably rank it Mitchell, Irving, then Holiday. Holiday's struggled a bit so far this series. Only took 10 shots last game. First game he was decent, all around decent game with 17, 9, and 6, but shot the ball pretty poorly, 7 of 19. It's a spot where the price tag at home here, they desperately need a win. You'd expect these guys to step up. So I don't mind going to Holiday, but he's probably behind Mitchell and Irving. And then you have Reggie Jackson checking in at $5,400. He fouled out in just 17 minutes, which is super hard to do. So he wasn't out there for a long period of time. Expect him, if he's not in foul trouble, to at least get you close to 30 plus minutes, if not more than like 35 to 38 if he's playing really well like he was in that game 6 against the Mavs. And then for value, you can maybe look to Mike James. He looks solid at only $3,800. He's going to play at least low 20s in minutes. Only $3,800 gives you at least 20, 25, close to 30-point upside. Rondo got extra minutes because Reggie Jackson was in foul trouble, so I still would bank on Jackson not fouling out in just 17 minutes. So probably my favorite value play is Mike James at only $3,800. Go ahead and put James in just because he's pretty affordable, and I do think the minutes are secure for him. At shooting guard, it's gonna be Donovan Mitchell, guy that I plug in. Also like Paul George, he shot really poorly, 4 of 17. Still was all right with 39 or 38 fantasy points, but definitely don't expect him to shoot under 25% from the floor again. Just a tough stretch of games for the Clippers. Had to put all their energy into the last few games where George played 46 and 43 against the Mavs, and then only had one day off to prepare for the Jazz series, whereas Utah had a longer, probably had like a week off at least. So probably fatigue for Paul George. Kawhi Leonard only played 37 minutes, but hopefully has his legs back in this one. His price tag has come down by $500, so I think he is probably my second option, and the third guy would be Irving. Fourth guy Middleton, Holiday. Probably like Holiday, Middleton. Pretty similarly, Middleton gives you a bit more offensive upside. Will shoot the ball a bit more, whereas Holiday will have more assist opportunities and get you more rebounds. So both similar. Think you can plug in both guys if you wanted to, but I'd probably lean to Holiday as my preferred option. And then Jackson, if you needed a value, he looks good at $5,400. Joe Ingles at only 47. If there is no Mike Conley again today, he looks like a great play. Only shot 3 of 12, but he had 7 assists, couple boards. Expect him to shoot a lot better. On the season, he's shooting 44% from distance. So I feel like Joe Ingles is going to have a lot better game this one at only 47, especially if there's no Conley. Other good plays at shooting guard are some of the value pieces like Jackson, 54, and then maybe you can look to like Bryn Forbes. But there's a lot more value at small forward where you have nobody likes playing PJ Tucker, but he's only $100 more than the minimum. You have Bruce Brown, who's been starting in place of Harden, playing like at least 25 minutes. Last game he probably would have lost a few due to the blowout, but probably see him play at least high 20s, maybe low 30s. Good price tag, and he's a guy that does a little bit of everything with the peripherals, so that is always a plus. Then you have Kevin Durant at 10.6, Kawhi Leonard at 96. I like George based on the price tag a little bit more than Kawhi, but I'm going to go ahead and put in Kevin Durant. Just been playing him so much this postseason, and he has not disappointed. He's just been so efficient from the floor, shooting very high percentage, getting you a lot of rebounds, out there for like 40 minutes in any sort of close game. So I have to like him here, especially if this game is a lot closer. Do you expect Durant to have the ball in his hands late in that game and just be the playmaker and the scorer? So go ahead and plug him in at power forward. Other guys at small forward, besides like Ingles and Durant, that you can plug in are like Morris at $4,500, Bruce Brown, and then potentially Tucker at only $3,100. Power forward, we have Bogdanovich, 59. There's only one. You have Durant and Giannis as your two pay-ups. Giannis, gonna need a big game out of him. The Nets have done a good job of not letting him go nuts. First game he was solid with 34 and 11, but the last game kind of forced him to shoot a little bit more like mid-range, making it tough for him to get in the paint. Expect him to really try to put the team on his back and get the win because they definitely don't want to go down 3-0 to the Brooklyn Nets. He was a lot better against them in the regular season. I mean, if you think the Milwaukee's going to win, you can play him over Durant. I still like Durant just because I think he's going to put up a similar amount of fantasy points. And then you have Blake Griffin at 48. He's been awesome since he's been awesome in the first two games of the series, shooting the ball well. Only took 4 times, only shot 4 times, but he made 3 of them in the last game. And he definitely lost a lot of minutes due to blowout. But go ahead and plug him in. You can plug him in at center if you wanted to, or at least at the other forward spot. Then you also have Morris at $4,500. Probably like him a little bit more than Batum. And then you have Tucker if you wanted to go with a complete punt play. Over at center, we have Blake Griffin. You can play $3,500 Zubats, who or $3,600 Zubats, who played 20 minutes. Thought he would get some more minutes in this series just to match up with Gobert. We saw him get 20 minutes. Maybe some of that was because Jackson was in foul trouble and they had to go big. But I still would assume that Zubats going to play at least a couple of rotations here. At only $3,600, he looks like a great option. Just because he gives you a lot of value and potentially can drop like 7 to 9x on his salary. So that is basically it for this one. Still leaves you with $6,800 left, but a couple of studs are Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant to build your lineups with, and I do like Griffin, James, Ingles, Zubats as values. Maybe if Conley plays, we can upgrade Joe Ingles to like another stud here. But that's pretty much it for the DraftKings side. Let's talk about FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel, point guard plays, you have Jrue Holiday, 82, Kyrie at 97, and then you have Reggie Jackson down to 48. The same price tag as Mike James. Still lean to Jackson just because if he's not going to foul out in 17 minutes, you still expect him to play like at least high 20s, low 30s, and then even up to like high 30s if he's playing really well. Second guy would probably be Irving, then Jrue Holiday would be my third guy. You can look to Clarkson too, depending on Mike Conley news. At shooting guard, you have Donovan Mitchell and Paul George, similarly priced. I would lean to Mitchell over Paul George. And then you have Joe Ingles as a great value at only 46, depending on Conley news. Even if Conley's in, you can play him just because he's pretty affordable. And then Bruce Brown is pretty expensive at 59. I don't think I'll pay that much for him. At small forward, we have Durant and Leonard, both very expensive. Kawhi is more expensive than Durant. I would lean to Kevin Durant over Kawhi just based on the matchup and just how much of a higher scoring game you'd expect the Bucks and Nets game to be than the Jazz game. So go ahead and be able to get to Kevin Durant. I want to get to at least. I think it's smart to get to at least one of these two top guys. You can maybe go Middleton if you're feeling it. And then for value, it is basically Bogdanovich, $5,400. Not a lot of option. Then maybe you can look to Joe Harris. Power forward, picking between Giannis as your stud. He's the only guy that's more than $6,000 at this position. You can always pay down at power forward. There's been a lot of value plays. You have Morris, O'Neal, Griffin as potential plays. You can even go all the way down to Tucker if you wanted to. You have about like 4 options if you don't want to pay up. Love the way Griffin's been playing. 55, he gives you a big upside, and expect him to play a bit extra minutes today if this game is close. And then at center, Gobert is 88. I don't think I want to pay that much for him. There's not only like 3 options here. Gobert, Lopez, Zubats. Maybe you can pump with like a Claxton if you think he's going to do well, at least off the bench. But I'd rather go Brook Lopez. His minutes are a lot safer than like Zubats. He's 6,000, but he gives you upside just because he can rack up the blocks and steals, maybe hit some threes. At 6K against Brooklyn Nets, hopefully he's able to get you some rebounds as well, and hopefully Giannis doesn't steal all of them. But overall, feel pretty good about it, getting to at least one stud in Durant and then going with some of the value pieces. Still leaves you with $7,100 left, so you'll be able to pay up for at least a couple of other studs. But that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck today. I'll catch you all next time.